Chapter 18. It happened after many days that the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain on the earth. Elijah went to show himself to Ahab. The famine was severe in Samaria. Ahab called Obadiah, who was over the household. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly, for it was when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord, that Obadiah took 100 prophets, and hid them by 50s in a cave, and fed them with bread and water. Ahab said to Obadiah, Go through the land, to all the springs of water, and to all the brooks. Perhaps we may find grass, and save the horses and the mules alive, that we not lose all the animals. So they divided the land between them to pass through it. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. As Obadiah was in the way, Elijah met him, and he knew him, and fell on his face, and said, Is it you, my lord Elijah? He answered him, It is I. Go, tell your lord, Behold, Elijah is here. He said, Wherein have I sinned, that you would deliver your servant into the hand of Ahab to kill me? As the Lord your God lives, there is no nation or kingdom where my lord is not sent to seek you, and when they said, He is not here, he took an oath of the kingdom and nation that they didn't find you. Now you say, Go tell your lord, Behold, Elijah is here. It will happen, as soon as I have gone from you, that the Spirit of the Lord will carry you I don't know where, and so when I come and tell Ahab, and he can't find you, he will kill me. But I, your servant, fear the Lord from my youth. Wasn't it told, my lord, what I did when Jezebel killed the prophets of the Lord? How I hid 100 men of the Lord's prophets by 50s in a cave, and fed them with bread and water. Now you say, Go tell your lord, Behold, Elijah is here, and he will kill me. Elijah said, As the Lord of armies lives, before whom I stand, I will surely show myself to him today. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. It happened, when Ahab saw Elijah, that Ahab said to him, Is that you, you troubler of Israel? He answered, I have not troubled Israel, but you, and your father's house, and that you have forsaken the commandments of the Lord, and you have followed the Baals. Now therefore send and gather to me all Israel to Mount Carmel, and the 450 prophets of Baal, and the 400 prophets of Asherah who eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent to all the children of Israel, and gathered the prophets together to Mount Carmel. Elijah came near to all the people and said, How long will you waver between the two sides? If the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal, then follow him. The people didn't answer him a word. Then Elijah said to the people, I, even I only, am left of the prophets of the Lord, but Baal's prophets are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bulls, and let them choose 1 bull for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on the wood, and put no fire under it, and I will kill the other bull, and lay it on the wood, and put no fire under it. You call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord, and the God who answers by fire, let him be God. All the people answered, It is well said. Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, Choose 1 bull for yourselves, and dress it first, for you are many, and call on the name of your God, but put no fire under it. They took the bull which was given them, and they dressed it, and called on the name of Baal from morning even until noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, nor any who answered. They leapt about the altar which they had made. It happened at noon that Elijah mocked them and said, Cry aloud, for he is a god. Either he's thinking, or he's missing, or he's gone on a journey, or perhaps he sleeps and must be awakened. They cried aloud and cut themselves after their manner with knives and lances, until the blood gushed out on them. It was so, when midday was past, that they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, but there was neither voice, nor any to answer, nor any who regarded. Elijah said to all the people, Come near to me. And all the people came near to him. He repaired the altar of the Lord that was thrown down. Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord came, saying, Israel shall be your name. With the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he made a trench about the altar, as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. He put the wood in order, and cut the bull in pieces, and laid it on the wood. He said, Fill 4 jars with water, and pour it on the burnt offering and on the wood. He said, Do it a 2nd time, and they did it a 2nd time. He said, Do it a 3rd time, and they did it a 3rd time. The water ran about the altar, and filled the trench also with water. It happened, at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that Elijah the prophet came near and said, O Lord, God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that this people may know that you, Lord, are God, and that you have turned their hearts back to you again. Then the fire of the Lord fell, and consumed the burnt offering, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. When all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, The Lord, He is God, the Lord, He is God. And Elijah said to them, Take the prophets of Baal, don't let one of them escape. They took them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon, and killed them there. Elijah said to Ahab, Go up, eat and drink, for I hear the sound of an abundance of rain. So Ahab went up to eat and drink. Elijah went up to the top of Carmel, and he bowed himself down on the earth, and put his face between his knees. He said to his servant, Go now and look toward the sea. He went up and looked, and said, There is nothing. He said, Go again 7 times. It happened at the 7th time that he said, Look, a small cloud, like a man's hand, is rising out of the sea. Elijah said, Go, tell Ahab, Make your chariot ready and get down from here, that the rain not stop you. It happened in a little while that the sky grew black with clouds and wind, and there was a great rain. Ahab rode and went to Jezreel, and the hand of the Lord was on Elijah, and he wrapped up his loins and ran before Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel.